Hi, I'm Bill Lancaster, and I'll be your host for this video. I have said to you before that I think that it's important to do a lot of practice if you're going to become a good bowl turner, wood turner. And to do practice, you need to have some form of free wood. It really helps. So I'm going to show you today how to turn a bowl out of a piece of log that you might find in your yard, your neighbor's yard, or on your street. It's just when someone's cut a tree down and you'll find it. So I've got a half log here to show you in a second. But first I want to tell you about a resource I think you should know about, which is on YouTube, a YouTube channel called Turn a Wood Bowl, all written together. A guy named Kent, I believe is his name, who does this, does a really, really good job. And I commend you to his videos. There's no need to me reinventing the wheel. He does a great job. And so go check out Turn a Wood Bowl on YouTube. Today we're going to be looking at this half log. I've got a new microphone boom arm that I'm going to use to mount this camera on. I'm going to just turn it downward so you can see what's going on, I hope. Now, I think that should probably be pretty good. So what I have here is a half log. I've showed you before how you do this thing. You just take some of you may have a tree you've cut down in your yard, cut it in half like this with a chainsaw, or have a friend who does a big bandsaw. You can use these discs like this to kind of size it. And this is a 9-inch disc. You can size it on that side, but be sure before you put it on the bandsaw to cut it that you turn it over. And then nail this to the top, boom, with a nail, and just cut around it, and you'll find out you'll get this kind of shape then. I don't cut around it, I just cut the corners off. And that's just as well for me, and I really like that better. It's a lot easier. I have the access to a big 10-of-its bandsaw. I think it came off an aircraft carrier. It's has about 1 1/8 blade. And it's really terrific. So I just use it to cut these corners off and come up with this. Now, to mount this, there are various ways. I've told you about the faceplate ring, between the centers, using the screw chuck. Today, I'm going to use a faceplate because I think that's probably the easiest for all of you to use. And it's kind of a good all-around way to do it and very, very secure. So I've already got some holes drilled here. I'm just going to screw this thing on. I've mentioned to you, be sure to use these sheet metal screws like this. They won't break off on you inside your wood, and you really need something like that that will be sturdy. So I'm going to let you adjust that a little bit. Be sure to use those. I'm going to screw this on. Right. It's going again. Now, I have got this thing mounted using the faceplate. Always, when you turn the lathe on the first time, turn it at 0, which I have done, and then you can turn it to your speed. I've got it going about 600, so you'll see it going now. So now we're going to start turning. And the first thing I want to do is turn this bark side off flat. It's really a nice bark. It's probably going to stay on. This is live oak, which is a wonderful wood when it's wet for turning. When it gets dry, it's hard as a rock. but this is live oak. It's about 21% moisture. I've got a little meter I can use to just measure the moisture level. The ends have been coated with anchor seal, and I'm going to take all that off now. I turned one of these about last week and turned out pretty well. So let's have a go at it and see what it'll do. I'm going to use a regular bowl gouge, which I suspect all of you have. It's a fingernail gouge like this. You'll see I have ground off the heel so that I have, I won't make compression rings in the wood. I've got a little bit of a hawksbeak in that, and we'll see how that's going to behave. Hawksbeak is where you have the end turning upward like that. It's not a good idea. I'll see how it goes. It might cause me problems. Now, if this is your flute, and that's 12 o'clock, that's wide open. That's very aggressive. This is closed, and that's about 9 o'clock, and it is unaggressive. We're going to turn this on this left corner, right in there, with the opening at about 10 o'clock. So approximately there, and we'll do a lot of cutting at that way. When we start doing this side, we're going to be doing it the same way, running down the bevel. This is the bevel, that part that's ground off there. It's going to cut in that direction. So we're going to follow the bevel. No matter what the handle's doing, we're going to follow the bevel. That's what we want. So this seems to be turning okay. Let's get it going. We're going to just flatten off this, put my face shield down, flatten off this bark side. As you're turning this thing, you'll notice that you want to adjust the angle of the openness of the flute and the angle of the handle up and down like this to make it fit what the wood will like. So turn the wood the way it wants to be turned. It's kind of a good rule. You'll find out there's going to be a lot of different ways that wood can be turned, and you want to turn it the way it likes to be turned. Take off that. You'll notice anytime you're doing a bowl, got wood, air, wood, air. So it's going to beat you up for a while. But you see I'm starting to get this thing flat. So let's try some more. I'm starting to get through the bark here. I can see the lighter wood coming through. Let's see what I've got here. I'm not through the bark yet. Let's keep, this is good solid wood here. That's still got some bark layer on it, so let's keep going a bit. Okay. I like to go a little bit farther. I want to get rid of that bark, so I can put a tin in there. I'm going to go to a different fingernail gouge, a little bit smaller. It's got a better edge on it. You'll notice that the bigger the fingernail, the bigger the gouge, the more kickback it gives you. This is a little one. Let's see what we got here. Okay, now we're getting to the point where I can just about put a tenon on it, a little bit more. This center part. I'm going up under that to take it off. That's the best way to get those little peaks out. Go up under them. Lift them out. Now, I know from past experience with my chucks about what size I need here. So I'm gonna get a ruler. And if I put about a 2.5 inch tenon on here, it'd be about right. So that's 1.25 will be the radius, and that's right there. And I need to move this tool rest in. So taking some wood off. And actually I'm going to move to a different tool rest. I have a nice curved tool rest. This is made by the One Way company, and it will flat out help me do a little nice curve on here. Let's see how that's going to spin. Oops, back up. Well, it's a long distance between that corner and that corner. But we're going to get it worked down some, and it'll be better. We'll get this corner worked down, it'll be a lot better. Okay. And I'm going to still use my smaller gouge. This is like a 3/8 inch. Let's get it going. Now I'm just going to kind of take off that corner, which is right there. I can see the shadow of it. See the ghost of it right there. Just going to start kind of taking that off. Just a little move. I'm not worried about shaping the bow right now. I just want to get that corner off. There we go, like this. Just look at it. You see I'm getting that corner worked down. So I'll be able to move this tool rest in closer. I'll get those corners worked out. They were like this. Okay, now we can start shaping the bowl. And I've done this two ways. One is to take long cuts like this, work my way down to about where I'm near the tenon. And another way is to make deep cuts this way and kind of give it a little bit of a flare out. So either way is fine. It's just a matter of your artistic sense as which shape you like better. I think today I'm going to go with the grooves downward, and so So you start doing that. Okay, we're working it. See, it's becoming round as we do this. We don't have to actually make it round. It's becoming round as we take it down. Okay, I'm going to do some more of this. Okay, we're getting there bit by bit. It's rough now, but we're going to make it nice and smooth. We're going to have to get all this bark off, you know, just the way it is. So let's get us in pretty close to this tenon and give us a shape like that. I'm going to kind of match the curve of the tool rest to that bark line right there. Okay, here we go. You'll notice as we go, we don't just go straight across. We swing like this to keep that bevel curving. It's got to curve to give the bowl its shape. We can do a kind of a flower pot straight across and make a flower pot. We don't want that shape. We want to have a nice curve. So I'm giving it a bit of a curve as I go. Okay, try some more. Let's see where we are. Okay, we've got a ways to go. Bark, flat sides, all that sort of stuff. Let's keep going. I like this wood very much. I'm sorry to be losing the bark in some ways. I'll put this tool rest a little closer. And we're making speed it up. You know, the faster you go, the less time there's between the the wood cut and the air cut. So let's go faster. As long as it's balanced, we can go faster. I'm feeling the lathe to see when it starts shaking. It's pretty good now. It's at 700. It's gotten beyond it's at 800 now. Let's try that. It's a nice smooth cut. I got to swing. Oops, I didn't swing fast enough. Try it again. Swing. Swinging. There we go. I got about a little over 1/8 of an inch cut going. Keep riding it on up. I'm pushing down on the tool there. In with my right hand on the tool. Don't like this. I'm kind of running out of cut here. I'll re-engage it and take it onto the top like that. Now, let's see what we got. Okay, we're getting better. Isn't that a nice smooth cut though? I like that. When we get to the end, the last cuts will be hopefully even smoother than that. We will see. Okay. You'll see as you do this how valuable the face shield is, because it's all kind of chips coming at you, probably up at the camera too. And I've got a ways to go to get off that bark. I've got a couple more flat spots here on the sides. I can move the tool rest in a little closer. I'm going to start getting this tenon shaped too. I've got a gouge called a 40/40, and the 40/40 will get right in there to do this tenon, and I'll have to dress it up a little bit with a skew, but this will be the 40/40. I really prefer using the 40/40 on the outside of the bowl. I'm doing it with the fingernail because I don't think everybody has a 40/40. So I'm going to give it a little bit deeper. Like so. Good. Now let's see what we can do here. That gives me enough to make a really good tenon out of. It's nice and deep. I'm going to leave it alone though for now and go ahead and keep carving on the sides. Notice you can brush the chips out of this thing if you go that way. Don't go that way or you cut your finger. Okay, here we go. One more swipe. You see how much smoother it is now that we've got it cut round. Just take off that last little unsupported edge with the side of the gouge. Okay, getting closer. Look at this. This we got a pith to deal with there. It looks beautiful, but it's going to be splitting, so I've got to take it off. This top's going to have to come down some. I know from previous experience that bark will chip out on me, so I've got to keep going to try to get rid of it. Let's go again. when you're doing free wood from a half log, it's going to dictate some of the things about what you can do. You can't do everything. You're going to have to do what the wood will let you do. So that bark is going to keep me from making a certain shape. That's okay. I'm going to have to get rid of the bark. It's just the way it is. Now, a little bit more, maybe one or two more cuts like that, and we'll be in good shape. Let's go. Okay, where are we? There's some bark there, and a little bit of bark there. One more cut should probably do it. That's a nice bowl shape, though, I think, and I'm pretty pleased with that. Let's do another cut so we can get this tool rest in closer. We're getting down to the last cuts, and when we do these last cuts, Turner Wood Bowl guy tells you a couple of things you can do. He's got a great video called 7 Ways to Avoid Grain Tear Out. And it works. If you'll follow his 7 ways, you will not have grain tear out. And so I'm going to do a couple of things he says, which is turn faster, take a thinner cut, and of course if you get the heel off of the bowl gouge, or float that edge. Just float the edge, as he calls it, float it around the bowl. You will not get that tear out, which just pulls the grain right out of the wood. This, I've got some tear out there, and there. It happens on those two sides. So I'm going to take a thinner cut as fast as I can go, and let's see if I can get this thing sped up some. That's at 800. I'm standing back out of the line of fire here in case it flies off. $920. I feel the lathe shaking. I'm going to slow it down to 885. Let's try that. Making a thin cut now. A thin cut is harder because you will come out of it so easily. So I'm trying to make a cut and swing with it. Keep riding that bevel. I'm doing it. I'm losing it. I pick it up right there. Pick it up again. Getting a little too thick. Well, I've lost it again. Let's try this again. Every time you move your feet and kind of lose the cut, you get a little ridge. Not good. I still got some bark to get off, and I've got some tear out too right there. Let's try it again. Move this in a little closer. Okay, let's try this. I just opened up that flute a little bit. So cut better and stay in the cut. Oops, I lost it. Try to pick it up. There, I got it. cut, push, swing. Let's see where we are. Now, I got a kind of a dip there in the side of the bowl. The tear out's better. There's still some pockets in this grain that just want to leave holes, and it may just be the grain. I'm going to try one more thin cut. I've got all the bark off now, so I think I can just do one more. Try to do one more thin one, and if I were taking my time, I would sharpen the gouge at this point. So I've got another one that might be sharper. No, I don't think so. Think ahead. Okay, here we go. Let's try one more thin cut. Getting my belly up against this thing. I'll stabilize it with a very thin cut. Swing. Keep going, don't lose it. Swing. 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 Not too bad. Okay, let's see where we are. I can look across here and see the profile. I've got a little hump right there I don't like. I'm going to take it out. I can feel it, I can see it. Otherwise, we're in good shape. I need to dress up this tenon too. I'm going to take out that little hump with the same fingernail gouge, using a little scraping motion. And if you see, I've got this thing, it's always all the way closed. A little shear scraping cut. You see this little fine stuff you get? That's what you want. I'm taking that hump out. I'm just doing this one little area right here, hopefully. I'll have to do a little sanding there, I suspect, with a 100 grit. Let's see what I've got here. Just lost the microphone. Get it back. Okay, I can work with that. Now let's get this tenon to it done. That tenon has to be done with a crispness that you just don't want to lose. So I'm going to get a skew. The skew, we use flat. Go right in there, I'll show you. This is a kind of a narrow skew. I use it a lot for this kind of cut. I'm just going to dovetail it in and go right to the bottom, make the bottom flat. Because you want this bottom right there, you want that to be flat, so the jaws will contact it, and with friction we'll give it a good hold. Here we go. We'll get up to speed, dovetailing it in, and flattening out the bottom. Just like that. That's all it really takes. Now I've got a nice crisp tenon with a flat bottom. Perfect. I'm happy with that. This knob in the middle won't matter because the chuck has a hole in the center that will miss that completely. Okay, let me put this down, and we're going to take it off now. We'll take it off and turn it around. Okay. I got a Tommy bar somewhere. Tommy bars are okay. Stand with the jug. Yep, there it is. This is a Tommy bar. And there's a hole right there, which of course this doesn't fit. Let's see if I can get it. All right, that's got it. Just push the spindle lock in here on the side, and I got it to pop off. So there we go. Now we're going to take this off, get the faceplate off of it, and then we can put it on the chuck. Let's get the drill over here. Put it on reverse and get these out. If you strip out the head of one of these screws, just throw it away. Honest to goodness, it's just, you don't want to get that thing stuck in the wood. Get your driver seated before you pull the trigger. It will help get it out better. You don't want it to spin that first time. Get it seated. And there we go. Okay. There's the faceplates off. And put the drill away. I discovered a couple of years ago that not all chucks are equal, and not all of them spin true. This is a Vic mark, which is a little better than most, and I got it because they the Vic marks tend to spin true. This is the Vic Mark 120. I have a Vic Mark 100 also. So I push my thumb in the center. Can you see that? My thumb right in the center, and then tightening up the jaws, and you tighten all four of them. There are only two, but as I've said, you do them twice. So make sure it's good and tight. Okay, now we're going to notice that this is not going to be perfectly flat. It's going to be going in and out on us, so we're going to need to flatten it. The main part to flatten is right around the rim, where the rim's going to be. You see, this is very close to the tool rest, and that's probably 1/4 of an inch farther away. So that's the difference between one side and the other. And we're just going to flatten this thing right out. I think it's going to go true on us. I'm going to spin it. Yep, good. Okay, it's going at 885. Using our left tip. switching to the little gouge, which has a better grind on it. This is the really important part right here where the rim's going to be. I really want that to be flat. And I can tell when it's running smoothly because it'll sound smoother. See that? Just sounds smooth. Now, let's look at it. This should be equidistant all the way around. And I can look here and also see that I have got the surface cut down where it's all a fresh cut. So there we are. Now we're going to take out the center with a Forstner bit. I've got a big Forstner bit I like to use for this. So let me get this thing up here. Get the Forstner bit over here. This is the big Forstner bit. You see, and it's bigger than the chuck, so this chuck can follow that bit into the hole. And we're going to clear it out. And I need to know how deep to go. And I want to make a mark with a Sharpie. So I'm going to eyeball it across here and see how deep I want to go. Remembering that I can always take more off, I can't put it back on. So I'm going to hold this up here, I'm going to eyeball across here. I want to see about how far from the bottom I want to be. I want to be about right there. And so that is right here at that start of that tape. I'm going to make a nice mark. You see I've got so many marks, you've got to remember which one is which. But it's that, I can see a piece of tape there that's also helping me find that edge. All right there. Okay, there we go. Now, I'm going to stick this here in the tailstock. Make sure it's seated. These things don't seat when you first put them in. You have to make sure they're good and seated. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go in, then I'm going to pull it out, I'm going to clear it, and I'm going to lubricate it. I've got this chunk of paraffin to lubricate it with, and we're going to do that. So I'm going to turn it at 400. Slow it down to 400. 360 is good enough. Now make sure that thing is locked. And then I'm going to go in about as deep as the Forstner bit, and then I'm going to pull it out, and I'm going to clear it and lubricate it. Now that's as deep as I'm going to go. Lubricate it, and we're going to do it again. 5 turns. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Out. Lubricate. If you get one of these things stuck in a bowl, it takes about 4 men to get one out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Out. Clear and lubricate. So you don't want to get this thing stuck. That's what I'm trying to do, trying to avoid now, is don't get this thing stuck in the bowl. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Out. Clear and lubricate. This is my mark right there. 1, 2, 3. Okay, we're going. All right, taking this thing up again. I've got it sharp now. Let's try this again. Move this over a little bit. Okay, here we go. Sticking the bevel in. Better. I'm opening up the flute as I go. Yep, that's the way. Now I'm hitting something there. I was taking too big a bite for one thing, and I was hitting a knot or something. I have to look at it and see what that was. Isn't that pretty though? Once you get it started and kind of get down below the surface, it runs so smoothly. You'll see. Now, some of you may be used to using a bottom feeder. And you'll notice that I'm not using a bottom feeder. I'm going straight in there using the bevel. Go all the way to the bottom. Opening up as I go. We got. Okay, looking very nice. Now, as we get toward this rim, I want to make a little different cut. I've got a narrow parting tool. I'm going to make a groove right about where I think the rim should start. So about right there. I do that so that I won't skate back across the rim accidentally. Okay, let's go some more here. Opening it up, riding that bevel right down to the center. Across the center. Well, good deal. Yep, like that. Okay, we got a long way to go to get down to the very bottom, so I got to go a little deeper. Now, before I go too deep, I want to form this rim in its final shape, because what I don't want to do is to remove this inner wood and have to do the rim. If I do, the rim will be thin. It's going to vibrate on me. As it vibrates in, the chisel cuts. As it vibrates out, the chisel doesn't cut, and you get chatter marks. So I'm going to form this rim. Now, before we take away this center wood, I'm going to sight down the side of the bowl and sight down my bevel and try to match them up. Now, I like to undercut the rim a little bit. It just feels good when you pick up a bowl. I have a little undercut, but I've got a different gouge for that. This has a sharper point on it, and it's this this gouge right here. This has a little different angle on it. So when I go in, it'll go more toward the side, easier. But I have to watch out I don't go through the side. I've done that. It ruins your bowl when you go through the side, I'll tell you. So I'm just going to do a little undercut, like so. Now, let's see how deep I am. That's definitely undercut. Now let's just get the little figure 8 measuring device out to see where I am. This is a figure 8. You see this thing? So, right here, at the very rim, I can see that I'm, over half an inch. And then when I get down to there, I'm probably 3/8. So that's a bit of a thick rim. Guess I'm going to take some more off of it. Okay. All right, well, I'm going to shape the top of it first. I don't want to neglect that. This is too flat. So I'm going to make it just perfectly flat. And then I'm going to put a kind of a scoop in it. This is done just the way you would do a scoop on a spindle gouge. Just doing it with a bowl gouge. So I'm going to be doing, well, this is in the way. Hang on a second. Okay. Yeah, I want to do that number right there. Okay, here we go. Start with this. I'm not going to go too close to the rim on that because I've done that before and I've had this actually chip off on me. So I'll quit there, but I think I better go a little thinner on the side. Take one cut with this, with the Ellsworth, and then we're going to go back in there with something else maybe. Now, let me get the other little gouge here, the one I like to do the undercut with. And try to put undercut. Yep, looking pretty good. Yep, I feel that pretty good. Okay. All right, now, different tool rest altogether. This is a robust J-shaped tool rest. The J-shape lets you go inside the bowl really nicely. And all the robust have this hardened steel edge on them, which is so good because you don't have to worry about it getting dents in it and holding up your tools. So the robust are just fantastic. That one is a 14-inch robust J-shaped tool rest. So we're going to just put it in that direction so we can do the inside a little bit better. Now I think I've got enough of this rim done where I can go inside now. So we're going to do it. Lower the tool rest slightly. And do it again. Well, I hit something there. See what I've done. Nothing really. Hit some rough grain. Anytime you hear a funny noise, you just have to stop. This tool rest was actually hitting the rim of the bowl. It had migrated over. So you have to stop and find the source of the noise and make it stop before you go on. So I've done that. Okay. I would like to have another class with David Ellsworth. I was in a short class with him up at North Carolina at as part of the Carolina Mountain Woodturners classes, and it was just a short one, but he offers a really good 1 or 2 day class. It costs a lot of money, so I haven't done it. I have a friend of mine has done it, and it's worthwhile. So I want to do that sometime. Maybe I can really learn how to do this better. Turn on that little light so I can see in there better. Hope that's not blinding you all too much. Let's try this again, okay? I'm going to stick the tool rest in a little deeper and try to keep it from hitting the rim. Yep, all right. This is not a good cut for beginners, and I'll tell you why. I'm being careful to use just the left corner of the tip of that Ellsworth gouge and ride it right down there. If you do this, and everyone is tempted to do that at the end, you want to just clean up that edge a little bit right in there. You stick this fingernail gouge in there, and it will catch every time. It'll catch and it will just explode or blow, shatter the bowl apart. So don't do that. Do not do that, right? You can do this, and even to the point of having that open if you know what you're doing, but do not do this, okay? Ouch. Well, that was a bad catch that I got from being careless and as I was drawing it out. So I've got a lot of wood there. Fortunately, I can clean that up, but you don't want to do that if you can help it. Let's just clean that up. I'm getting those catches in the bottom because the grain is always going just like this in the bottom, and you just don't have a lot of, it's the hardest part of a bowl, that bottom third. So I'm going to do a couple more cuts from the top up here, try to work that down. Yep. I'm sighting down the side of the bowl and down the bevel. I'm going to measure the thickness here. So I've got about a little over 3/8 there. And it's pretty consistent down to that point. Then it gets up to pretty thick. So we're safe. We can take down some more of this. Move the two rests a little bit more. I love this wood, it's so nice. Okay, going for the bottom. Take the center of the gouge to the center of the bowl. Now, you get down to this difficult part in the bottom. You can use a negative rake scraper on it, and I'll show you that because it's a good tool. The negative rake, where's mine? Yeah. Negative rake scraper is this. You see it's 70 degrees this way, 20 degrees that way. The two of them add up to 90 or less. It should have a burr on there, and this one does not have a burr. Let me see if I've got another one. Better. This one is just bigger. Same idea. I'm just going to go in there. This is such a forgiving tool. Just going to take out some of those ridges that are in there. Let's get this thing going. Face shield. I can feel that ridge right there. The burr makes this tool into a slicing tool instead of just a scraper. So I'm going to come right up here. And I'm not getting too close to the rim because that's where I can get chatter marks. Let's see what I've got now. Oh yeah, much better. I'm going to just touch this up here by the rim lightly. Let's see if I can get rid of that. See that groove right there? So I can get rid of that. When you hear it vibrate, when you hear it sing like that, that's vibration, and you don't want to have that. You get that vibration, that means that you're going to have chatter marks. So I've got to put a chisel mark in. I'm going to take that out with the negative rake, I hope. Just gently. I cannot be careless here. Let's see where I am here. Okay, not too bad. I think I can start sanding it now. Let me get the air pressure on here. Hang on, it's going to make a noise. Chatter marks. I have to do that with sandpaper. Okay. Now to do the sanding, I've got a just a stick with a Velcro pad on it. Just a stick with a Velcro pad on it, and I stick these round sandpaper discs on there and just touch it. I can run it backwards, run the lathe backwards and touch those edges. I don't like that chisel mark right there. I have to do a lot of sanding to get that out, I'm afraid. But I don't want to touch it with the negative rake because I'm afraid it'll put chatter marks in it some more. So I'm going to have to do the other. Another way to do the sanding is put it into a drill. You put the same thing into a drill and you can get this thing going faster and cut it out better. I think that's probably enough for you to see how you get this thing done. In the end, turn this thing around. I have cold jaws that I put into another chuck, and you clamp the cold jaws onto the rim like this to do the bottom, and you can do that bottom pretty well with that. So if you don't have a vacuum chuck, use the cold jaws. And hope you've gotten something out of this. This was turning out to be it started out being just a half log with bark all over it, and now it's a nice little bowl. So I hope that was helpful for you. I'm going to see if I can take this thing off and let you see it a little bit better. This thing, come on, baby. Right there. Okay, well, enough of that. Bye-bye.